be obeyed. You have brought to this city nobleness. Welcome that honor to God's way.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, Rahman Rahim, Rabbil Alameen. Meaning, peace be unto you, the blessings and mercy of Allah be upon you. All praise is due to Allah alone. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, creator of all that exists. It is for the praise and worship of Allah alone that we do this program for you, our listeners. We greet our Muslim brothers and sisters and our non-Muslim neighbors as we invite both to another hour of learning here on The Message. The Message is brought to you by Lahubala Islamic Media Foundation and Bonsai Masters of the Philippines. Our work is supported by further donors around the world who have given for the sake of Allah alone. May Allah bless you all. Thank you for joining us again here on The Message. Remember, we're always here from 7 to 8 p.m. every Thursday night. You can hang around after our program for Women in Islam from 8 until 9 p.m., which is hosted by Sisters Rashida, Aisha, and Fatima. And don't forget to listen every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. for The Message in Tagalog, brought to you by Brother Ralam Muhammad, who is often joined by Brother Yusuf Apitan. And you can join Brother Yusuf Apitan for his program on Friday nights, Discover Islam, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tonight on The Message, we are discussing the prophets of Allah. We're continuing with the theme that we've been running for the past few weeks, and tonight is special. It's one of my favorite topics, and a lot of other converts feel the same way. It's the story about Jesus and Islam, because for many of us who converted from Christianity to Islam, we believe that we did not give up being Christian in the literal sense of the word. It's just that when we became Muslim, we had a better sense of who it is that Jesus really was and what he really taught. So please contact us with any messages of encouragement or questions. Please don't hesitate to write in whatever language you feel comfortable with, whether it's English, Tagalog, Spanish, Arabic, or any dialect of the Philippine Islands. If you want to get a question to us, we'll have it translated. I'll research the answer and bring it to you in English on Thursday night and Tagalog on Wednesday night. Be patient with the answering of questions, since I do research them and may not be able to bring an answer immediately, especially if the question is to be translated. But I do promise that eventually all the questions will be answered. So you can text us your messages of goodwill, or just if I make a mistake and you want to correct me, or if you want to ask a question, text the show at 0922-604-4233. Again, that's 0922-604-4233. Email us at islamradio@yahoo.com. That's islamradio@yahoo.com. You can watch the videos of our Thursday night programs at www.youtube.com/IslamRadioPH. That's www.youtube.com/IslamRadioPH. You can listen to them or download the MP3 digital audio file at islamradio.mypodcast.com. These online resources are shared with The Message, Women in Islam, and The Message in Tagalog. So, this evening's discussion, as I said, is one that is very near and dear to me. You see, I converted to Islam after spending a lot of time studying Christianity and the Bible. At one point, I wanted to become a preacher, and I had already taught Sunday school for adults and Bible school for children. And it was because of all that I had learned about the Bible and how it had been altered over the years that I began to lose faith with Christianity. I feel that once I embraced Islam, I regained my faith in Jesus and had a much better understanding of who he really was. Tonight, we'll look at the life and teachings of Jesus, son of Mary, alayhi salam, but first I want to go ahead and hit on a few bullet points. First, Jesus, alayhi salam, is not God, nor is he the Son of God. Second, Jesus is the Messiah, and that title has not yet become fulfilled. Third, Jesus, alayhi salam, did not die on the cross, nor was he crucified. Fourth, Jesus himself taught the belief of one God and one God alone, not three, not two, but one. Jesus was a prophet of Allah, and he taught Islam. Tonight, before we really go deep, we need to look at the New Testament and the Christian Bible. We need to examine why, in Islam, we reject certain ideas about Jesus. First of all, as Muslims, we must reject everything written by Paul. Why is that? Well, quite simply, Paul is not a reliable source. Think about this for a minute. Here's a man who is completely against Jesus, alayhi salam, while he was alive, and then after Jesus is no longer around, Paul suddenly has a vision and becomes a post facto disciple of Christ, only to teach in a way that undermines everything that Jesus ever said on this earth. For some reason, people believe Paul more than Jesus and have altered the words of Jesus in the Gospels in order to have it fall in line with Paul's teachings. To be quite blunt about it, Christians today would be more accurate in calling themselves Paulians. Additionally, books that were written about Jesus from the first century or two of Christianity completely contradict Paul's letters, and it is for that reason they were not allowed in the canon of the Bible. Interestingly enough, all these books about Jesus were considered a great threat by the Catholic Church, and manuscripts were destroyed and people were put to death for teaching them. Yet, these texts give a more honest portrayal of who Jesus alayhi salam was in this earth. Paul was a Hellenistic Jew, and what that means is that Paul had lived in Greco-Roman communities. He lived among them, he was taught by them, and as many Hellenistic Jews of the time did, he began absorbing the pagan ideas. This is why Paul invented the concept of Trinity and the worship of Jesus as God. Paul changes his teachings 5 times throughout his life, and he creates chaos among the Christian churches. In fact, it was a series of letters written by John, the apostle of Jesus, which smoothed out this chaos, although his letters were deemed blasphemous by the Catholic Church, and most copies were destroyed. In the New Testament books alone, not counting those letters which never made it into the Bible, Paul changes his story of the conversion on the road to Damascus 3 times. Paul's writings in one letter